Damian Green resigns. Deputy Prime Minster quits amid ornography claims. The former First Secretary of State had faced an investigation over claims explicit material was found in 2008. And he quit the cabinet this evening at the Prime Minister's request, apologizing for his conduct, after independent advisor on ministers' interests, Sir Alex Allen, found he had breached the ministerial code and misled the public. The probe found statements given by Mr. Green saying he was not aware that indecent material found on his parliamentary computers were inaccurate and misleading. The investigation found the Met Police had previously informed him the material existed, but it could not reach a definitive conclusion on alleged advances towards journalist Kate Maltby in 2015. Sir Alex's report said there had been competing and contradictory accounts of what were private meetings between the pair, but said the journalist's claims had been plausible. Mr. Green has said he regrets the distress caused to Ms. Maltby but did not recognize her version of events. The Prime Minister, who asked him to stand down, said she was extremely sad at his exit. Mr. Green has described allegations that he downloaded or viewed pornography on his parliamentary computer as unfounded and deeply hurtful, but admitted he had not been clear in his past statements on the issue. In his resignation letter, Mr. Green wrote, "I regret that I've been asked to resign from the government following breaches of the ministerial code, for which I apologize." He went on, "From the outset I have been clear that I did not download or view pornography on my parliamentary computers. I accept that I should have been clear in my press statements that police lawyers talked to my lawyers in 2008 about the pornography on the computers, and that the police raised it with me in a subsequent phone call in 2013. I apologize that my statements were misleading on this point. The unfounded and deeply hurtful allegations that were being leveled at me were distressing both to me and my family, and it is right that these are being investigated by the Metropolitan Police's Professional Standards Department." In her own letter to Mr. Green, Mrs. May said she regretted losing Mr. Green, a close ally since their university days together. She told him, "I have also carefully considered the report's conclusions in relation to two statements you made on 4 and 11 November which you now accept were inaccurate and misleading. This falls short of the 7 principles of public life and is a breach of the ministerial code, a conclusion which has been endorsed by Sir Alex Allen, the independent advisor on ministers' interests. While I can understand the considerable distress caused to you by some of the allegations which have been made in recent weeks, I know that you share my commitment to maintaining the high standards which the public demands of ministers of the Crown. It is therefore with deep regret, and enduring gratitude for the contribution you have made over many years, that I asked you to resign from the government and have accepted your resignation." The inquiry was triggered after Kate Maltby, who is 3 decades younger than the 61-year-old, claimed Mr. Green fleetingly touched her knee during a meeting in a pub. And she said a year later he sent her a suggestive text message after she was pictured wearing a corset in a newspaper. Mr. Green has always denied the allegations. A source close to Brexit Secretary David Davis confirmed he would not quit the government in protest at Mr. Green's sacking, despite a report earlier this month that he had threatened to resign if that happened. Mr. Davis was Mr. Green's boss as Shadow Home Secretary at the time of the raid. The resignation of one of her most trusted allies, who helped pacify her deeply divided party, is a serious blow for Mrs. May as she navigates the final year of torturous Brexit negotiations before Britain's exit in March 2019. Mr. Green was appointed in the wake of her disastrous decision to call a June snap election which lost her party its majority in Parliament. Her old ally was brought in to stabilize her leadership and counter enemies within the Conservative Party who wanted her to quit. Mr. Green is the second cabinet minister to resign over the Westminster sexual harassment scandal, after Sir Michael Fallon quit as Defence Secretary on November 1. He said his behavior had fallen below the high standards required after he admitted putting his hand on the knee of radio presenter Julia Hartley-Brewer some years ago. He was among a number of politicians caught in a wave of allegations of improper behavior,